A trio of individuals from Arizona basketball are honored with conference awards before heading into the Pac-12 tournament. On the diamond, the Wildcats split the weekend with two non-conference opponents in their first ever Hi Corbett Classic. An experience in Arizona student media, sports one cannot get from attending classes here at the UA, are shared by a veteran reporter and editor from the Daily Wildcat. All this and more coming up on Dorman Sports Chat. Happy Monday and good evening to you from our studio in the Park Student Union. I'm Joey Petrello. Tonight, I'm joined once again by Go AZ Cats video reporter Evan Murray and Camp Radio sports talk host Danny Passavoy. Tonight, we'll begin with news that put a big spotlight on the UA. Earlier this morning, Arizona basketball head coach Sean Miller was named Pacific 12 Conference John Wooden Coach of the Year. Miller led the Wildcats to a Pac-12 best 28-3 overall record, 15-3 in conference play, along with a regular season finish of number 4 in the AP poll. Also, junior shooting guard Nick Johnson was honored the Pac-12 Player of the Year, and rookie power forward Aaron Gordon won Freshman of the Year. It would be the program's first time ever all three awards were collected in the same year. Johnson and Gordon were also named to the Pac-12 All-First Team, while junior point guard T.J. McConnell was listed on the second team and Pac-12 All-Defensive Team along with Johnson. Gordon shared his thoughts on the accolades earlier today at the McHale Center.
This is my first year, so I'm not 100% sure on how everything works and stuff like that. So I think it'll sink in maybe next year or later down the road when I can look back and know this is a great accolade that I just achieved.
Heading into its annual conference tournament, Arizona is coming off a 64-57 loss to Oregon and will either face Washington or Utah, who they were a combined 3-0 against. At his press conference today, Miller talked about his emotions from last year's Pac-12 tournament heading into this season's.
We had a tough moment there last year, losing to UCLA for the third time in the semifinals. I think that, to me, that fuels our fire for this year, the players who were part of last year's team. So I think we're excited about it. Coming off of a loss, we're going to take a couple days off here, and we want to play great basketball from this point on. So we're hoping that we have a chance to play 3 games. And I don't know this, we could play really well and not win the tournament because of how good our conference is.
Arizona has not won its conference tournament in the past decade and last year lost a heartbreaker to Pac-12 rival UCLA. Obviously, that will fuel Coach Miller and the returning players, but Evan, what about the freshmen, especially Gordon and Hollis Jefferson? Is there any extra motivation for them?
In a way, I think just because those are two of the most competitive guys on this team. But, I mean, to help draft stock at the end of the day, to build momentum for the tournament as far as the NCAA tournament goes, I think those kind of things. But besides that, I mean, they're a competitive bunch. Anybody wants to win games. So I think that plays into it more than anything specific for Gordon or Jefferson or T.J. McConnell at that point, too.
Well, Ronnie Hollis Jefferson is one of the, by far, most he's a guy that always puts in the most amount of effort that he can always put in. He's a guy who's always looks like or appears to be the most motivated guy on the court.
That's why he's best.
Diving for the ball, getting those second chance opportunities. So do I think that this provides extra motivation? Probably not. I think it has to do more with just getting your body and getting the team ready for the tournament come March.
That's how I feel too. And obviously, you mentioned Hollis Jefferson being one of those guys who gets those second chance points, things like that. I mean, he is the sixth man for a reason. They had him starting, and then they put him back to sixth man because I think Gabe York really fuels off being a starter, and he fuels off being a sixth man. So I think it's just his energy. Gordon, obviously, an extreme competitor. So I think just winning games is their motivation.
Yeah, they're both definitely high energy guys.
Right.
Losing to UCLA last year, I mean, in the press conference, Aaron Gordon touched on a little bit. The only thing he really knows is the line he touched the ball.
Yep.
So does it add motivation? Probably not. I think that they're probably already in that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Danny, all 3 of the Wildcats' losses came to conference opponents that were away from home. So there is no guarantee they will walk away with the Pac-12 tournament. So who do you have in the finals, and give us a winner as well?
Who do I have in the finals? Well, teams need to get to the finals in the first place. I have
Right.
Utah beating Washington, so I think that Arizona will eventually play Utah and win that game, play Colorado. And Colorado is a team with a huge chip on their shoulder, especially after what Arizona did to them this season. So that's going to be the game. And if they get past that, I think they meet Oregon in the finals and are able to beat Oregon in a little redemption game, if you can call it that.
Sure.
I'm with you on Colorado. I believe Colorado always plays with a huge chip on their shoulder, not only what happened with Arizona this year, but what happened with Arizona the year before that as well. So I think Colorado just has a huge chip on their shoulder no matter who they're playing. Plus, they're very well coached. Tad Boyle always has those guys motivated no matter who they lose. And so I think Colorado is beating Arizona in the semis, and Colorado and UCLA play in the finals, and UCLA wins it.
Wow. Okay.
That's my rundown for it.
That's
No,
bold.
I mean,
Hey.
I like it, though.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like Colorado.
yeah.
Well, the Wildcats are in Vegas as the number 1 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. They will play the winner of Wednesday night's game between Utah and Washington on Wednesday. Don't leave, because up next we're recapping Arizona baseball's first ever High Corbett Classic. You are watching Dorm Room Sports Chat on UATV Channel 3.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Welcome back to DRSC. I'm Joey Petrello alongside Danny Passavoy and Evan Murray. Over the weekend, Arizona baseball hosted its first tournament since moving into High Corbett Field. In 2012, the defending national runner-ups Mississippi State of the SEC Conference and UC Santa Barbara from the Big West traveled to Tucson to play 2 games against each other and another couple against the Wildcats. Arizona got off to a hot start, defeating the Bulldogs on Friday night and the Gauchos on Saturday by a combined score of 22-8. The win over MSU also snapped a 5-game losing skid for the UA. Then things fell apart again on Sunday, and the Cats were swept in the doubleheader, losing 10-2 against UCSB in Game 1 and 6-4 in the evening contest to the Diamond Dogs. So, Evan, so far in this young season, James Ferris on Friday night, Cody Hamlin on Saturday, they've been a strong 1-2 punch on the mound to kick off the weekend. So, however, on the Sunday starter spot is still a big question, and Lopez even said that Tyler Crawford will work from the bullpen for the rest of the season. So, with Crawford now, his job is gone from being a starter. Who do you think could fill that spot?
I mean, issue is there really is no one to fill that spot, but your best bet at this point would have to be Cody Moffitt. I mean, he hasn't been healthy, but once he comes back healthy, he could be the only guy to really fill that spot.
Been sick with pneumonia.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but the problem is that outside of Hamlin and Ferris, they don't really have a true starter. And even then, Cody Moffitt's not really a true starter. He's a lefty, so it'll be nice to have him in the rotation. But he's got to be your best bet. I know Andy Lopez wanted to use him out of the bullpen as a lefty arm for the rest of the season, but he might not have that luxury anymore. If Tyler Crawford can't be a reliable Sunday guy or isn't reliable enough to start for you, who are you going to put in?
What about Austin Schnabel?
Schnabel
Who you
is
mentioned,
a guy who
Lopez mentioned, right?
Lopez
He's had-
said that he's likely to go with Schnabel next Sunday.
He's had a little bit of an issue to start the season, allowing 6 runs and 6 1/3 innings pitched so far. But he's young, and he's a future starter for this team. Maybe not this year, but he is a future starter. And a guy like Morgan Ehrman, although he didn't have a great first start, like you pointed out earlier today, he's a guy that's done very well out of the bullpen so far this season. Morgan Ehrman's a guy who can start. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I think you have to go with Moffitt right now.
So, Danny, another question mark early on in the season has been right field. Between Joseph Maggi, Tyler Kraus and Kenny Meimersdorf. Who do you think should see the most playing time in Redfield?
Oh, well, this is an interesting subject, too, because none of them have really stepped up so far this season. But I'd have to go with Joe Maggi. And I'd have to go with Joe Maggi because when you start getting into Pac-12 play and you're a 500 team, who are you going to rely on at that point?
The veterans.
You rely on your veterans. And Joe Maggi is a guy who was there in 2012 for the national championship. He was there through their run last year. He's a guy that has more experience than almost anyone on this team. So in reality, 500 team can't truly count on anyone else. You have to go with the veteran.
But you have Maggi and Mimer hitting under 200.
Right.
Why not give Kraus a shot? Like, I mean, he's, only started 3 games, but at the end of the day, I mean, is there anyone playing very well?
He was the hero in inning number 14, the bottom of the 14th against Utah Valley.
Thank God.
As well.
There
Thank
you
God,
go.
or else we were gonna
Maybe
be
give
there
him a
forever.
shot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and giving someone new a shot, putting a fresh face in an offense that hasn't really done much other than the 2 games to begin the series is really not a bad idea. However, I'm just an old school guy. Stick with the veteran.
He does have that ring on his finger as well. All right, tomorrow night, Arizona returns to its home diamond for the 5th game in as many days to face Air Force for the first time since 1968. He's covered just about every sport you can imagine at the school, working his way up from beat to beat. Now a senior reporter and assistant sports editor at the Daily Wildcat, Luke Della joins us live when we return to Dorm Room Sports Chat on UATV Channel 3.
I'm Derek Williams, the former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
These those clones looking down on me, but unlike those clones, this dog is free. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life, dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life.
Stay tuned. Don't change the dial. All right, David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Thanks for spending part of your Monday with us on DRSC. I'm Joey Petrella. We are lucky to have a veteran sports reporter, now an assistant editor with us from our sister media outlet, the Arizona Daily Wildcat. On top of editing, he was the lead Wildcats football, basketball, baseball, and softball reporter, and that's only naming his bigger beats. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Della. Luke, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And so, Luke, you've been extremely active with the campus newspaper here. I see your name in print just about every single day. All of us here in student media are obviously busy people, but what is it like working on deadline for a newspaper all the time on top of going to school here?
It's a lot of work, but it's work that I enjoy doing. I really wouldn't trade it for anything else. It's a good experience. In some ways, sometimes school, I probably shouldn't say this, but sometimes school gets pushed to second. When really,
I feel that.
Yeah, it should be first, but sometimes writing about sports is so much better than doing math equations or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a lot of work, but it gets done, and I don't really sleep that much. Yeah.
Well, the Daily Wildcat's top rival from the real world, obviously, is the Star. So how do you and the other editors at the Wildcat work to compete with such a big paper like that?
I mean, that's their job. So, it's going to be real difficult to compete with them.
Mm-hmm.
But They're our friends.
Right.
I know Daniel Burke, who's the football beat writer, Bruce Pascoe, who's the basketball beat writer for the Star. I feed off them. I learn stuff from them. They show me stuff. I hopefully sometimes show them stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a competitive because obviously you want to be the first to a story,
Right.
and you want to have the best story in the world.
Of course.
But it's at the end of the day, it's a friendly competition.
Well, I've mentioned you've covered sports from Arizona women's hoops to football, and I through this you've gotten to attend a lot of press conferences with big reporters like you mentioned, Daniel Burke, Greg Hansen's there. He's a legend here in journalism in Tucson with sports. There's not only big paper people like the Daily Star, but other big TV stations and media outlets are there too. KGUN 9, KOLD, ESPN, the Associated Press. The list goes on and on. So was being around those professionals ever intimidating for you at first, and how have you gotten through all that now that you're a senior?
Intimidating? No. I think the athlete or the coaches are more intimidating than the other reporters. I think I think at first I was quiet. I didn't want to be annoying and loud and maybe get in their way. But as I got more confident in myself, I learned to work as they work and be aggressive and say screw you. I'm gonna get my story and you can come after me. Yeah.
Well, obviously we can't work in student media forever.
Mm-hmm.
Through my years here, I've really enjoyed your writing, and whether it be the features, the columns, or recaps, they've all been great. But what's next for Luke Della after graduation?
Oh man, I wish I knew that. I want to. To me, what's really most important is living somewhere where I enjoy to live. I know a lot of times in journalism, you have to start off at the small market,
Right.
The middle of nowhere, Kansas or North Dakota, and that's not for me. I need a beach. I need. I've lived here.
Well, what about in Tucson?
Yeah, well, it's been a struggle.
It's
been a struggle. It's been a struggle. So, California, and if I can get a job there, I'll find my way. We'll see what happens. But I have no idea. I'm just.
What's your dream job?
My dream job. I don't know if I have a dream job. Maybe, living in Los Angeles and covering USC football. I don't know.
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated would be fun. Yeah, I mean, I guess, working for one of those major, even though you don't want to be a sellout, working those major.
I want to be.
You want to be a sellout.
I want to be.
Well, so do I, because they get all the access.
Yeah.
They get to talk to the Brandon Ashleys when they're injured, and they get to talk to the whoever they want to.
Because they have the biggest following. All right, Luke. Well, going off that, how has working in student media prepared you for what could come after graduation? What's the biggest thing overall you think that you'll take away?
Being professional, I think, is the thing I've taken away the most. I hold myself, and I know a lot of people at the Wildcat hold, and then I was taught to hold myself to the highest standard.
Yeah.
Take this as it is a job, even though it is student media, and I get paid, dirt for it.
Sure.
It's
I feel you on that.
Yeah, it's my job, and so to be a professional, working in a professional environment, and taking every word that I put down on paper serious.
Now, before you go, I'm going to fire some statements off that you need to complete.
Correct.
The best coach in the Pac-12 this season, other than Sean Miller, was?
Well, you got me on the spot here. Probably Tad Boyle.
Sure.
I think for him to keep that team somewhat together after what happened with losing Dinwiddie, I think that would probably be my top.
Not a bad selection at all. The Pac-12 basketball tournament champion will be?
I think it'll be Arizona. I really do, and that's not just a homer pick.
Sure.
They're the most talented, and I think, as you guys said earlier, if they can get by Colorado, I think they'll be pretty solid. Yeah.
The Pac-12 tournament runner-up will be?
Probably UCLA. I think they're obviously the second seed, so they're second to make it. If that makes sense.
Arizona over UCLA, I like it. The chances Sean Miller rips his pants again are?
Hopefully slim for everyone's sake. But he gets so excited there on the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again.
Las Vegas offers a lot of entertainment to gentlemen with common interests alike, such as?
Oh man. Well, I liked having a little fun. Putting couple bucks on the table.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Luke, thanks for coming on again.
Thank you for having
we
me.
really appreciate your time. You can catch his writing and editing Monday through Friday and sometimes even during the weekend in the Arizona Daily Wildcat. After the break, Danny and Evan are back with us for a game of 30 seconds. You are watching Dorm Room Sports Chat on UA TV Channel 3.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
The quick game of 30 seconds. Danny, Evan, and I each have a half minute to voice any particular topic we want in sports. Evan, you're leading off.
All right, well, I just have to mention the fact that Aaron Gordon got Freshman of the Year as far as Pac-12 goes. Pretty impressive award, but he's not on the all-defensive team. It makes no sense. Obviously, we know Aaron Gordon isn't that great on offense. I mean, he does put up points every once in a while, but that's not his strong suit. He doesn't have a shot. So where is he getting this award from? I mean, he plays amazing defense, so why wasn't he on that list if he wins Freshman Player of the Year? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. I think he deserves an award, but I think he deserved maybe another award.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, Danny. But his defense is definitely he can
That's
score.
what won him that award.
In my opinion, that's what won him an award, and I think that's
Right.
basically everyone's opinion. But I think he's getting better offensively, but definitely his strong suit is he can defend 5 positions.
No, you're right, and I didn't give enough credit on the offensive end. Like, I understand that, but it's just funny because his strong suit is his defense.
Absolutely.
And it's silly for him to win Freshman Player of the Year and not win Defensive Player.
I agree.
Not
I agree.
Defensive Player of the Year, but you know what I'm saying.
All right, go for it, Danny.
I have a problem with you, Australia. Well, no, not really Australia in itself, but I have a problem with Major League Baseball choosing to have their opening day in Australia. Not that it's a problem with Australia, but the sense that it takes 11 to 12 days away from the Dodgers and D-backs spring training. And that's time that these guys need to get ready for the season. They lose 12 days just in traveling, getting there, practicing there in a different time code. It's difficult and takes away the Tucson tournament for the Dodgers. And just in reality, it takes away a lot of time that these guys need to prepare. I think that Australia baseball is a great idea not to start the season.
Isn't baseball an American sport?
It's
Yeah,
the
I know.
pastime
I
of
was
America.
going to say, I
I
feel
mean,
like it's America.
we have
Like,
a Canadian team,
we need
though.
baseball starting here.
We have a
that's crazy.
Canadian team, and I have no problem with playing baseball and expanding baseball into Australia.
Absolutely.
Australia is awesome.
Sure.
But to lose that amount of time for spring training before the season is not good.
I know
And the Dodgers are not happy.
I know
about
your
it.
boy Zach Greinke's not happy.
No, I mean, he's one of the most upfront guys,
Yeah.
so he's going to say something.
All right, I'll close this out. I just want to give a quick shout out to Arizona Wildcat Hockey, who made their first national tournament appearance since 2006. They're sending off a great senior class with Andrew Merms, Eric Waters, Michael Bassist, Jeff Wadhams, and David Sisler, Steven Sisler, excuse me. So congrats to all you guys, and have a great time post-college. I know Merms wants to go professional next season. Is going to be great for Wildcat Hockey as well. Some new recruits coming in, and it should definitely be a very exciting season. They should be in the tournament again.
What would we do without your hockey comments?
I gotta do it.
No, I
Nothing.
know. I love
No.
it. We would.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta. I mean, I'm a Buffalo kid, so that's we breathe hockey.
East
We're-
Coast guy,
We're not
I
very,
get it.
We're not very
I get it.
good. Not very good, but we got hockey,
Fair enough.
I'm a Los Angeles hockey fan.
and they're good.
Yeah, lately, especially Kings.
But when Ryan Miller was in net, who won the silver medal? The U.S. with your boy Quick.
Jonathan Quick.
Not so much.
Jonathan Quick's the best goalie in hockey.
All right. That's it for this episode of DRSC. We'd like to thank you for tuning in and hope you will again in 2 weeks from today. For our analysts, Danny Passavoy and Evan Murray, I'm Joey Petrello, cordially wishing you a wonderful good night. You are watching Dorman Sports Chat on UATV Channel 3.